Today we're going to go on to a new module which is describing Azure Compute and Networking Services. So let's look at the objectives here. So to compare compute types, including container instances, virtual machines, and functions. Describe virtual machine options, including VMs, virtual machine scale sets, availability sets, Azure Virtual Desktop. Describe resources required for virtual machines. Describe application hosting options, including Azure Web Apps, containers, and virtual machines. Describe virtual networking, including purpose of Azure Virtual Machines, Azure Virtual Networks, Azure Virtual Subnets, peering, Azure DNS, VPN gateway, and express route. Define public and private endpoints. So, and you can see how it is laid out, right? We start with an introduction and then go on to describe virtual machines. So let's get started here. Alright, so in this module, you'll be introduced to the compute and networking services of Azure. You learn about 3 of the compute options, and that is virtual machines, containers, and Azure functions. You'll also learn some of the networking features such as Azure Virtual Networks, Azure DNS, and Azure Express Route. And what are the objectives? And that's what we saw a little while ago. So let's go ahead and try to describe what are Azure Virtual Machines. So so let's start with the introduction. So it says that with Azure Virtual Machines, you can create and use VMs in the cloud. VMs provide infrastructure as a service in the form of a virtualized server, and it can be used in many ways, just like a physical computer. You can customize all of the software running on your VM, and VMs are an ideal choice when you need the following, like total control over the operating system, the ability to run custom software, to use custom hosting configurations, and an Azure VM gives you the flexibility of virtualization without having to buy and maintain the physical hardware that runs the VM. So we're not you don't need to worry about software. Windows updates or patches or anything of that sort, because that's all taken care of. So, however, as an IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service offering, you will still need to configure, update, and maintain the software that runs on a VM. So we need to do that, but we don't need to buy the physical hardware. So we need all right. So I guess we need to take a step back here and say that we need to, because it's infrastructure as a service, we need to maintain the software. The operating system, right? The patches and updates. But what we don't need to do is procure or buy physical hardware. So that's what we don't want to do, right? And we're not doing that in infrastructure as a service. So you can create or use an already created image to rapidly provision VMs. You can create and provision a VM in minutes when you select a pre-configured VM image. An image is a template used to create a VM and may already include an OS and other software. like development tools or web hosting environments. Alright, so in the next video, we'll continue um, uh, moving along this section. Um, we'll be covering scaling VMs in Azure and examples. So until then, see you next time.